In this video, I'm going to give a brief overview of each one of these lunchbox coolers and then test them side by side to see which one keeps your lunch cold and safe for at least 4 hours. But before we get started, I hope that you like this video, subscribe to my channel, and thanks for watching. So let's take a look inside these lunchboxes. I'm going to first start here with the Bentgo. So this is the Bentgo, and it has these little trays inside, and here is the freezable ice tray. I'm going to put this in the freezer and test it against the other ones. But I guess if you don't want the compartment, then you could put your food on here. You can see it's a little bit smaller than the other ones, so its storage space is a little bit limited. But we'll get that tested. Let's move over to the Feastable box here. Open this up. You can see it has these trays in here. You can move the dividers around on this, only on that one side. And then you open this up and there's no ice pack in here. So I'm not sure how long this will keep it cold, but I am going to put this lunchbox in the freezer to see if the air will keep it cold for our test duration. Moving on to the Packit here. This Packit, this one tends to be pretty popular. They come in a variety of sizes and colors. It has a gel pack in the lid and on the bottom, and the sides are insulated. So we'll test this one. Nice thing, it compresses, so when there's no lunch in it, you can store it in a small space. So moving over here to the Columbia lunchbox. I open this up. I've seen this variety of different brands, but it has a foil liner. It does have one divider and a hard shell inside. You can use it without the hard shell. And you can see it's foil. It doesn't have an ice pack, so I'm going to need to put an ice pack in here to test it. I'll use the same ice pack or a standard ice pack for all the coolers that don't have an ice pack. Now, this is the Yeti, the gold standard, $80. Not sure I'd want my kid to have an $80 lunchbox, but you can see in here, the zipper is nice quality. Everything is nice quality, but there's no ice packs. Now I'm going to have to spend a little more money for the ice pack. I'm going to use the same ice pack in the Columbia that I'm going to use in here, so it's an apples to apples comparison. And that's about all you get with this. It does have a pretty good volume. And last but not least is this ChillyBox. So if I open up the ChillyBox here, it comes with this Tupperware. I guess you could put a salad in here. It has this freezable ice tray in here. It's nice size. And then what's nice, the dividers store in the bottom. So if you're not using the dividers, they have a nice place. They don't get lost. And you can utilize that. And then it does have an ice pack in the top. You can go without this ice pack, but I'm thinking that it's fully surrounded. This should definitely keep the food cold and safe for a long time. So let's get started on the test after I put these in the freezer. I have this weather station here that comes with 3 different remote sensors. I'm going to test 3 different lunch boxes side by side. I'm going to simulate the lunch with a sandwich bag and a piece of bread. I also have a napkin to insulate between the ice packs. You can see these are all reading about 42 to 40 degrees, and I'm going to put them in there for about 4 hours. And I'm going to start here with the bento box, and I'm going to grab this tray. I'm going to put the ice pack in the bento box like this. And then what I'm going to do is put that sensor in here like this, inside the tray. This one's a little bit tight, but to simulate this, I'll also put a piece of napkin in here to keep everything consistent. Put that in there, and I'm going to close that bento box. All right, next is the Packit. Get the Packit. I'm going to put that on a piece of bread inside the Packit. Let's see here. I'll I'll put that napkin in there, get that shut up. Okay, here's the packet, and then last but not least is the ChillyBox. Put that sensor on the bread. This is to simulate like a deli meat. So now I'm going to put the ice tray on here, put the sensor in there, and then I will put it inside the ChillyBox. All right, and get that in there. Okay. Put the ice pack on the top. And we're all starting out. So this one's sitting at 45. These two are at 47. And we'll see how they are. I'll check in periodically about every hour to see how they're doing. So it's been just over an hour, and you can see this is the ambient temperature. This is the temperature in the Bentgo. It's 40 degrees. The Packit is 55, and the ChillyBox is at 33 degrees. After about an hour, I'll check in about another hour and see how they're doing. We're 2 hours and 12 minutes into our test, and you can see here the Bentgo is at 39 degrees, the Packit's at 58, and the ChillyBox is at 34 degrees. We'll check back in around 3 hour mark. Checking in with a little over 3 hours, and you can see the Bentgo is at 39.7 degrees, the Packit's at 68, and the ChillyBox is at 35 degrees. It's been 4 hours and 10 minutes since we started the test, and the results are in. The Bentgo is at 40.5 degrees, the Packit's at 73.9, and the ChillyBox is at 35.7. Keep in mind that you want to store your deli meat at below 40 degrees F, or it becomes unsafe and bacteria starts to form. Now I'm going to move on and test the next 3 lunch boxes. In this section, I'm going to test these 3 lunch boxes. I have the Yeti lunchbox, the Mr. Beast Feastables, and a Columbia lunchbox. This Columbia lunchbox is very similar to the Igloos and Coleman's, so it's your standard lunchbox that you get at a big box store. Now, the Mr. Feastables does not have an ice pack or come with an ice pack. I did put it in the freezer to chill the air that surrounds the inner portion, so this should be a good test. Now, I'm going to load each thermostat into a sandwich bag to demonstrate that it's similar to having deli meat. So each one will get loaded like this into a sandwich bag. So number 3 is going to go in here, and I'm going to load this with an ice pack, your standard ice pack. I'm going to put it on a napkin, and then I'll put that thermostat in there. Zip this up. The Mr. Beast Feastable. I'm going to take that. I'll take this out. Put the napkin in here. And then I'll load that in. Put that into the lunchbox. Get that sealed. You can see a lot of condensation. And then the Yeti. Open this up. Get rid of this. Put the ice pack in there. Then I'm going to put the sandwich on the top here. Let out some of this air. Okay. Seal that back up. Okay. Over time, we'll test it for 4 hours and see which one ends up to be the best. They're all starting out at about 48 to 49 degrees, and then they should settle out and see where it is in 4 hours. It's been a little over an hour, and I'm checking in here. This is the room temperature, 76 degrees. The Yeti is sitting at 56 degrees, and the Mr. Feastable lunchbox is at 62, and the Columbia lunchbox, the standard offering, is at 57 degrees. We'll check back at the 2-hour mark. We're at about 2 hours into the test, and the Yeti is sitting at 56.9 degrees. The Mr. Beast box at 70. That's to be expected. And the Columbia cooler is at 57.9. Checking in at the 3-hour mark, you can see the Yeti's at 57.4 degrees, the Mr. Feastable lunchbox 73, basically room temperature, and the Columbia lunchbox at 58. We'll check in at the 4-hour mark and then call it. It's been a little over 4 hours, and here are the results of the test. The Yeti lunchbox ended at 58.7 degrees. The Mr. Feastables is 74 degrees room temperature. Not surprised because that's just got air. And the Columbia lunchbox is at 59 degrees. Only 1 degree more than the $80 Yeti. I'm kind of surprised with that. But after looking at the directions right here, it does state that it's best if you pre-chill the lunchbox. It's kind of annoying. So what I'm going to do on my next test is pre-chill the lunchbox like they said, and then I'm also going to use a larger 12-ounce ice pack like it recommends online to see if it will hold the temperature at a lower and safer temperature. Especially if you have deli meat, you want it to be less than 40 degrees by the time you eat, or else bacteria starts to form. So let's move on to that Yeti test. Okay, for my last test, I'm going to test these 3 lunch boxes. I did what the directions said. I pre-chilled the Yeti lunchbox, and I'm going to go ahead and open this up. I'm going to load it full of ice packs. So I'm going to put one of these big ice packs in here along with a small one, and then I'm going to load this sensor one in there like this. Put the bag in there, and I'm going to put the napkin as a vapor barrier and set this on here like that. Get some of the air out of here. Okay, and then with the ChillyBox, I'm going to put the ice tray in here. I'm going to put one of the warmest sensors in there. This one's at 43 degrees to start out. They all kind of level out after about 30 minutes. I'm going to put my vapor barrier in here. I'm going to put the thermostat in there, get some of the air out. Okay. Slide that in. I'm also going to put the tap ice pack in there like this. Get this around, and then the last but not least, I'm going to put this Mr. Feastables. I took the tray out. I'm going to put this sensor in the lunch bag, and I'm going to put an ice pack in there. I know this is not typically what you're going to do, but I'm curious to see how this will keep it cold. Obviously, put the napkin in there as a vapor barrier. I'm going to let out some of the air. Not much room in there with that ice pack. All right, got these two set up. They're all sitting about the same temperature now. You got 45 degrees in the Yeti, 46 degrees in the ChillyBox, and Mr. Feastables is at 45. We'll come back and check this just about every hour and see which one cools down or warms up. It's been an hour since we started this test, and the Yeti is holding steady at 51 degrees. The ChillyBox is at 38.8 degrees, and the Mr. Feastable with an ice pack is holding steady at 56.4 degrees. We'll check back at the 2-hour mark and see how these lunch boxes are doing. Checking in at the 2-hour mark, you can see that the Yeti is at 53.2 degrees, the ChillyBox is at 58.6 degrees, and the Mr. Feastables is at 56.9 degrees. Checking in at the 3-hour mark, the Yeti is at 53.8 degrees, the ChillyBox at 39.3, and the Mr. Feastables is at 57.3 degrees. We're at the 4-hour mark in this test, and you can see that the Yeti is at 53.9 degrees, the ChillyBox is at 40 degrees, and the Mr. Beast lunchbox is at 58 degrees. That concludes the testing of all 6 of these lunchboxes. Now, the Bentgo and the ChillyBox were the only lunchboxes to maintain temperature below 40 degrees. 40 degrees and above is where deli meats and yogurts start to form bacteria, and it becomes unsafe. Now, I'm a little disappointed with the Packit and the Yeti, especially the Yeti for this price point. It's a nice quality lunchbox, but I pre-chilled it like the directions said. I put 2 giant ice packs in here, and it still was only able to maintain a temperature of the low 50s. The Packit was almost close to 60 degrees after 4 hours. Now, the Mr. Beast lunchbox, that just has air. It's not a great insulator. If you want to keep things cold. Now, your standard lunchbox performed about the same as the Yeti in the mid 50s, but if you'd like to see other lunchboxes tested, please leave it in the comments. I hope that you liked this video, subscribe to my channel, and thanks for watching.